What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's Haynesy coming back from another video, and today it's the video that we've all been waiting for. Been teasing it for a couple of weeks now, but it is now time to get it. Vegas starts this weekend. We got round one. Vegas is going to be a massive weekend before we roll into the regular pro seating next Thursday night at Allianz. Can't wait for that as well. There'll be a separate video about that next week. But we're here. Moment you've all been waiting for. It's time for my official 2025 NRL Ladder Predictions. We've seen, obviously, a lot of creators go out there and do it. I wanted to wait till the preseason games, take my reflections on the preseason games and injury suspensions, all that kind of stuff, and narrow it down to my best accurate ladder prediction. Obviously, guys, this ain't going to be the full ladder prediction, like full ladder, because I don't think anyone has tipped 1 to 17 correctly ever in their lives. So we'll do our best. If I do offend people in where you don't like to be, I apologize, but this is my personal opinion. Let me know your opinion in the comments below if you agree or disagree with my list. Anyway, guys, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you're new around here, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, follow me on TikTok and Instagram at Haynesy_T. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoy. And without further ado, let's get straight into the video. Hey lads, just before we get into it, we've got a little bit of an announcement, housekeeping kind of thing. We're once again teaming up with our partners at TBC Live. Obviously, a couple of weeks ago, we were at the NRL All-Stars, thanks to TBC Live. I have created a little bit of a tipping comp with TBC Live this year. So link is in the description if you want to join. There's some awesome prizes to be won for the winners at the end of the season. And the more we get into the leagues, the more prizes. It goes up from per 10 people up to 40. There's multiple prizes. The top one, if we have more than 40 members in our league, would be NRL jerseys, Origin tickets, you name it. So we need about another 30. We got up to 10. So link it in the description. It is free of charge. All you got to do is download the TBC Live app and hit the link. Join the league through the code. The code will also be in the description. Go join it. Free of charge. Apple, Google Play, you name it, wherever you get your apps. Download the app today, and also they'll be doing the predictions as well as you do live plays as well. So more on that. Right, housekeeping out the way, straight to the video. It is very, very hard to pick a wooden spooner this year because let's face it, like no one's really screaming out to be the wooden spooners this year. You might even argue the Roosters, but that's not going to happen. But 17th spot. It is very, very tough to make this because I don't think there's one standout here, but it could be in multiple teams. But if there's one to choose from, basic of history, I'm going the Dolphins. Now, I'm sorry to the Dolphins fans. Now, the only reason why I've got the Dolphins is normally the year after Wayne Bennett leaves the club, there's sort of an after effect. And I feel like the Dolphins were keeping their head above water as a competitive side with Wayne Bennett there. Now that he's gone, Christian Wolf gets an opportunity to prove himself, but I just feel like the aging roster, don't think their halves are settled. I don't know about their forward pack. Is it competitive enough against the top teams? I don't know. Normally we see this pattern with teams. We've seen South Sydney struggle. We've seen the Broncos struggle. We've seen Newcastle struggle. We've seen the Dragons struggle. I feel like the Dolphins are going to struggle as well, so I'm going to put them last. Could be wrong. Mostly likely going to be wrong, but if it's a team that stands out to get the wooden spoon this year, it is the Dolphins. I'm putting him at 17th. In the 16th spot, I have the Newcastle Knights. Now, they had a great trial one. They obviously flogged us in a trial game, but again, you don't really take a lot out of trial games to say they're going to win the comp after a good trial game. Now, obviously, there's a lot of question marks as well on the Newcastle Knights. Obviously, it's ironic because they beat us 48-10 in the trial game, but I feel like they're a team that they can avoid the spoon. They've been keeping their head above water. But the problem is, though, they just have not solved their halves problem at all. We still don't know who's going to be in the halves come round one and who's going to be in round three. So it's a bit of, halfback roulette there at Newcastle. I feel like the squad, hasn't really changed at all, hasn't improved. The only thing that's going to keep them away from the spoon would be Caleb Ponga. He's one of the best fullbacks in the game. So I think that'll be enough to avoid the spoon there. So I am putting him 16th. Lower than people expected, but that's just my gut feeling. And let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree. But yeah, I've got the Newcastle Knights 16th. In the 15th spot, I've got the Canberra Raiders. Now, a little low as well. because the Raiders are a really gutsy team. You know, they fight, scratch, and claw every year. When they're expected to get the spoon, they make this surprise run and make the top 8, or they just miss out, and they've done that. I just don't know this year. I just don't know about the Raiders this year. Obviously, we'll learn a lot more come Vegas. Obviously, it's hard to pick on a Vegas team when they haven't really played their full strength team for the first 2 trial games because they're already off in Vegas. So we'll get a good indication come Sunday afternoon. But I just feel like they've been scratching and crawling for a couple of years now. I feel like this is their setback year. Ricky Stewart's on his last legs, and I mean, it wouldn't be surprised if he gets some firing. But basically, from what we've seen from the squad so far, they've lost players. I feel like this is the year that they take a step back, the Raiders. I'm putting him in 15th spot. In that 14th spot, I've got the St. George Illawarra Dragons. I know, another one that is really, really surprising to everyone. But I just feel with the Dragons that, it's a building. It's still building. They had a bit of a surprise run finishing that high last year. I think Ben Hunt was the glue to their success. And no Lomax as well. That's obviously the 2 ones that you've got to consider. Yes, you got Clint Gutherson, but he wasn't really doing. He obviously was doing a lot at Parramatta, but even though he was the captain and all that, Parramatta was still struggling. And I think it's basically just swapped to a similar side with Gutho now at the Dragons. Damien Cook is on the out as well. He's getting older. Obviously that great experience. Lockie Ilias and Kyle Flanagan. Even though they had great trial games and they're quality halfbacks, but they weren't really wanted at their clubs. Like, obviously, Kyle Flanagan was, outed at the Roosters after 1 year. He was out at the Bulldogs. Lockie Ilias was outed out of South. So, I feel like I don't know about the Dragons. I really don't know about them. But, obviously, they're good trial games. They've got, but I feel like the loss of Ben Hunt, I feel like they're going to sink a little bit this year, putting him in the bottom 4 in at 14th. Right, 13th spot, the Gold Coast Titans. I normally pick the Gold Coast Titans at 13 because they are the most inconsistent side I've ever seen. They always have hype, the Titans. They always have hype. They've got a good squad. They just don't deliver. They never deliver. And I'd hate to be a Titans fan because there's so much promise that there's something that's going to turn around, but it goes back to square one after a couple losses in a row. Now, Kieran Foran's out for the first couple months of the season. They still don't know where they're going to pick, all these superstars like, Kenny, Brimo, Jaden Campbell. They're still figuring out what's the best way for it. Tino's back, which is good for him, but, we all know a year after an ACL injury, they're not at their clinical best. So I can see the Titans making the top 8 or they finished 13th. So that's just what you get with the Gold Coast Titans. So I think the safe option, put him at 13th. If they make the top 8, you look like an idiot. But if they finish around that 12th to 14th mark, you look like a genius. So I'm putting him at 13th. 12th spot, the West Tigers. 25 is going to be the rise of the West Tigers, but I don't think it's an overnight success. I think it's going to take a year or 2 to get him back in the finals contention. They have a squad to make the finals. And, there's always that surprise team that surprises everyone. The Tigers could be that team. They got Luai, Taruva, Terrell May. Like, still stings me that Terrell May's at the Tigers. Royce Hunt Hunt looked really good in the trial game. So they're a good squad, young squad building. I just don't think it's going to happen straight away. I think it's going to take a year or 2 of getting used to it. But I do think they're going to be a much improved team this year. They're going to get out of the bottom 4, and then maybe in 2026 they make a finals run. But this year, safe option, put him at 12. But still, I reckon any West Tigers fan will take it after winning 3 wooden spoons in a row. So West Tigers 12 in an 11th spot. Parramatta Eels. Now with the Eels, I think the same thing. Obviously they've had a couple of years, where they missed finals and all that. But I feel like first year on the Jason Ryles is not going to be instant success. They've got to, obviously they've recruited better. They've got Fox, they've got Lomax, Dylan Brown and Moses another year together. I just feel like the Dylan Brown, though, the negotiations is really going to make an impact on Parramatta this year. Jason Ryles as well, first year coach, what we'll get, what we see. Looks like an aging squad. Obviously, they've got better players, but I feel like there's better teams above the Eels, unfortunately. So I'm putting him at number 11. In at number 10, I've got the South Sydney Rabbitohs. Now, obviously, I had South to make the 8. Obviously, the Wayne Bennett factor, but no Cameron Murray for the season. He's at the heart and soul of that club. it is going to be very, 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 very tough for South now without their inspirational leader in Cameron Murray out for the entire season with that Achilles injury. And now that Latrell's out for 8 weeks as well, that's a big blow for him as well. Like, especially when there's high hopes on the Rabbitohs after having Wayne Bennett back at the club. Obviously, it's not always going to work the second time around, but, he's a super coach. He's one of the best coaches in the game. He's know what he's going to get from his squad, but these injuries are going to massive blow. What they're going to do with the halves combination, that hasn't been sorted. Obviously, they didn't show enough in the trial game, so there's a lot of question marks there for South. But I think they're going to have a better year. I just think with the injuries now, it's going to be too much of an effort to get them into the top 8. Could be wrong. Hope I'm not wrong. But for the Rabbitohs, fair enough. In a nice spot, the Wars, the New Zealand Warriors. Now, James Fisher-Harris got to talk about it. One of the big signings of the offseason. Like, he is going to be massive for the Warriors this year in that forward pack. Just strengths that forward pack. Obviously it works out great now that obviously it was for the reason for Adam Fanua-Blake, but now that Tohu Harris is now left, James Fisher-Harris is that man to be the inspirational leader in that forward pack. Luke Metcalf, I think he's going to have a great season as well. Obviously they're going to struggle without Sean Johnson, but I think Luke Metcalf is going to be that perfect replacement there. I do feel that the Wilds are going to have a good enough season, but I think it's going to be really tight, and I still think there's teams above them in that top 8 race. But 9th spot, wouldn't surprise them they make the 8. They've got the squad there. But, I think it's going to be, a better season for the Wilds, but not at that 2023 level just yet. Right, into the infamous top 8. Who's going to be playing finals footy in 2025? Starting off at 8th spot, I've got the North Queensland Cowboys. Now, obviously, they're a yo-yo team where they go 1 year good, 1 year bad, 1 year good, 1 year bad. They've got a squad there to rival for a premiership. Tommy Dearden, drink water. Reece Robson's last year at the club. Obviously, no Val Holmes. Obviously, he's gone to the Dragons. But they still got a good team there, good forward pack. They've got a good balance. They're just going to work on the defense. I think that's what's keeping me away from them being in the top 4 team is their defense is awful. But their attack is one of the best in the comp. And when they were on, they're on. They can score points from anywhere. So I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt. I'm putting them in the top 8. I still think it'll be a good year for the Cowboys. But, if they can work on their defense, they're definitely a premiership threat in 2025. 7th spot, I've got my boys, the Sydney Roosters. Now, I know you're going to see them on buys having the Roosters in the 8. Obviously, the trial form wasn't, good enough whatsoever, and there will be a video on that next week. But I'm always going to back my boys into the end. Obviously, it's probably the first time ever done a ladder prediction where I haven't put the Roosters in the top 4. But I've got to be realistic here. It is going to be a challenging season, but I still have belief and I still have faith in the boys that they can deliver. Excuse the trial form. Excuse the trial form because they are trials at the end of the day. But I still think the Roosters have a really good squad. Like, our backline's decent enough. Tedesco, Tupou, Dom Young, they're all world-class. They're world-class. Say what you want. They're world-class. The centers, Marky Mark, he looked good in the trial games, and he's going to get better as the year goes on. Obviously, that right center, it's going to be Billy Smith when he's available. The thing, we just got to keep him fit. Obviously, he's not playing round 1, which is a big blow, but keep him fit. Sandon Smith, he's going to get better as the year goes on. Like, he's getting that more first-grade experience, and we've seen that he can do it. Like, trust him, my boy Sando. Chad Townsend, say what you want about Chad Townsend in that trial game, but, like, when do you ever see a premiership-winning halfback on the market? We got one. We've got a premiership-winning halfback. Say what you want. He's a premiership-winning halfback. He knows what he's doing. He's not an average Joe. He knows what he's doing. So I back Heaven Hills. Chad Townsend can do a job. Forward pack's still decent enough. There's a world-class. It's a world-class forward pack. And we've got some young players coming through as well who can do a job for the Roosters Academy that have had that taste at first grade. They're going to do a job. I back the boys 100%. It's going to be, obviously, if we can keep our head above water for the first half of the season. Sam Walker returns. Yes, he's not going to be at 100%, like, not going to be 100%, but, like, he's not going to be back from where he was last year. But him alone, his creativeness can get us over the line in games. Brandon Smith as well. He is a class hooker and a class middle. That might help us towards the back end of the season. I still, Trent Robinson always likes to peak his season, times his season perfectly. where in last 8 weeks of the season, we need to win 6 or 7 games to make finals. He'll do it. So I'm still backing the boys and make finals, and I'm putting him at 7th spot. Say what you want, the Roosters are still playing finals in 2025 because we're the Roosters. In 6th spot, I've got the Manly Seagulls. Now, they are also a team that, they're getting better each year. Obviously, it might be the farewell run of Jaylee Cherry Evans. I think the one thing we always got to say about the Manly Seagulls, you've just got to keep Turbo fit. And if they do, Manly can win a comp. They've got a good squad there. They've got a good forward pack. They've got a decent backline, young, speedy backline. And they can beat anyone on their day. So I'm putting him at 6. I still think I'll just have teams above him in the top 4. In the 5th spot, the Doggies, the Bulldogs. Now, there's always that one team that has a tremendous rise, but then has a fall off. I don't see it in the Bulldogs. The reason why I say that is because the Bulldogs would have learned a lot out of that semi-final series. Obviously, they lost in week 1 to Manly, and probably a lot of inexperience there, just got the better of them over, and the fan base last year from the Bulldogs was insane. Like, they were an emotional roller coaster last year with that fan base. Like, they thought they could, they all believed again, which is great for the game. When the Bulldogs fans are passionate and they're getting 50,000, to a semi-final or 30,000 to a Friday 6 o'clock game, that the league's doing well and the Bulldogs are doing well. So I think that Ciraldo would have learnt a lot, and he knows what is expected come finals footy. I think we're going to have a similar season, and then hopefully come finals footy, the Bulldogs are primed, ready to go for a finals campaign. So Bulldogs, 6th spot. They've got a good list coming through. Another year better under Ciraldo. I think they're going to still just miss out on the top 4, but they're finishing 5th. They're getting another home final, and I still see him getting past week 1 of the finals in 2025. Right, into the juicy stuff, the top 4. 4th spot, I've got the Brisbane Broncos. They're going to return the finals footy. Madge Maguire is, obviously he's done it before. He's a premiership winning coach. He's obviously coached New South Wales to an unlikely series win last year. He knows what that club needs right now. The Broncos were in shambles last year, and I think he's the guy that toughness can help them go a long way. Like, we've got to talk about it, right? Yes, you can talk about the Ezra Man stuff, but for the first 8 weeks at least, they've got Ben Hunt. One of their own. Like, obviously, he was there before. The former son. He's there. He's back alongside Reynolds. 2 experienced halves. Reece Walsh gets another year. And maybe from a different perspective now, having Madge there as a coach. A different mindset from what he got from Kevin Walters. Obviously, Carrigan, Haas, another year. Ricky. Their squad's it's a squad that shouldn't be missing finals whatsoever. Obviously, they say injury-free. They can play consistent footy. I can't see him not winning the comp. I hope that doesn't happen because I hate the Broncos. But top 4 finish for the Broncos. I've got to be realistic here. So I think top 4 is the fair option there for the Broncos. 3rd spot, the Cronulla Sharks. Now, I think they could be the dark horse of this competition. I say that because even though they've got a great roster, but they don't do anything in finals. But last year they did. They got to a prelim final. They learned a lot in that finals campaign. They got over that finals duck. They got a win in finals. They got to a prelim final. So they've had that taste. They have that exposure now. Now they can go to the squad. They've got a squad there to do it, to go on one better. Adam Fanua-Blake is going to be a huge signing. I think alongside Fisher Harris, one of the best signings of the offseason. I do think the Sharks can match it with the top 2 teams and win a premiership this year. Fitzy it's his 3rd year, his 4th year now at the club. He's developing that team, and they're ready to go for a massive finals campaign where, prelim final, grand final stuff. I think this is the year to do it. Nico Hines has another year. He's got that monkey off the back as well. And he knows how to manage a big game now. He's had that win. So hopefully we can see better of that. And we'll see what happens. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of questions about, Trindle, Atkinson, who's going to play at 6. But I still think it's a great squad there. Whoever puts in that 6 jersey will do the job. And I'm really impressed with the Sharks squad. And I think they are going to do a good season this year and putting them in the 3rd spot. 2nd spot, the Penrith Panthers. And I am sick to death every year, the last couple of years, saying that Penrith are going to have that massive fall off where they miss out of, even though they might make the top 4, they might struggle in finals due to fatigue and all that. It's not happening. It's just not happening. and I keep making myself a fool saying that Penrith are going to go out in straight sets but they're just going to win a comp again. They're going for 5 premierships in a row, which is freakish. And obviously this is probably the best year to say that they're not going to make the top 4, but they're just going to prove us wrong yet again. Obviously the players are parching. Who's going to play 6 to replace Luai, but they still have the best player in the game in Nathan Cleary at 7. They've still got a decent forward pack. Yeah, but you might even say, no, Fisher Harris now, but Leota, and they always do a job. It doesn't matter. It's just like a clone. Doesn't matter who's playing in the front row, 7, fullback. They're always just going to do the job. Like we just saw it last week in the trial game where their Jersey Flag side beat Manly's reserve grade team with like X amount of first grade players playing. Like it's just the rise is just going to continue. Like it's not going to end. Like premiership wise, it might end, but like dominance wise, where they're one of the top 4 minor premierships, grand finals, that's not going to change. That's going to keep happening for the next 10 years. The way this squad is, from their juniors onwards, it's just scary. So, like, say what you want about Penrith. This is a year that might struggle, but I don't see it. This might be the year maybe because I don't expect them to fall off this year. I still think they can win the comp. So, I'm putting them at 2nd. I wouldn't be surprised if we're standing here in October and Penrith are winning the comp. Anyway. Moving on to the top spot, minor premiers, and I think this is the team that's going to win the comp this year. It is the Melbourne Storm. Now, if there's one team to get rid of this Penrith curse, where if you lose a grand final to Penrith and then you struggle in the bottom 4 territory, Melbourne's the team to do it. Like this team is an oiled machine, and I think that this new developing squad that they've built from obviously winning the comp in 2020, I think it's hit its full circle now. Last year, they had that experience. The same thing with what Penrith did. That cliche, you got to lose one to win one. And this new aging squad not aging, but new developing squad that Melbourne have got now, this new core talent coming through. Similar to what Penrith had in 2020. They had a fantastic season. Looked like they were going to win the comp. They came up against an experienced team like Melbourne did in 2020, what Penrith, Melbourne, whatever. And they lost that grand final. Now that Melbourne have had that taste, they've had that experience on the big stage, even though they've had it before, but this new core group have, like Harry Grant, Warbrick, Xavier Coates, you know what I'm trying to say here. Now that they've had that taste of grand finals and, the raw emotions of a grand final, now they know what is to expect, and they're going to go one better this year. I think they're going to be all in to do one better from last year. I can't see Melbourne being stopped this year. That's just my personal opinion. As much as I don't like Melbourne, but I've got to be honest here. I can't see them. Like their squad, they haven't changed much at all. Like the only one you can argue was Christian Welsh, who's retired now. They're bringing Stefano Olagamanu. So, and this is his opportunity now, a good system, a successful system. If it's now or never for him to live up to his potential, I think Craig Bellamy's going to get the best out of him. Like Munster, pre-season, obviously missed a lot last year, but if he can play the full season, that spine is deadly. It's the best spine in the game. So Melbourne looking like a scary team. Only Penrith right now that brings to mind that can stop this juggernaut this year. Maybe the Sharks as a smoky, but we'll wait and see. But that's my premiers and that's my minor premiers. Hopefully I'm wrong, but anyway, there it is, ladies and gentlemen. There is our official 2025 NRL Ladder Predictions. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments what your thoughts and what is your ladder predictions. I'd like to hear your feedback. Thanks for watching the video, guys. Also, shout out to our partners, TBC Live. Like I said, link is in the description. If you want to join my tipping comp through TBC Live, it's free of charge. It is free of charge, guys. Like, all you got to do is download the app, put the code in, join the league, tip, and you could win awesome prizes at the end of the season. It's that simple. But yeah, thanks to TBC Live for your continuous support on the channel. Right, guys, I'm out of here. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you guys in the next one. We'll see you guys for the watch-alongs for Vegas. Next week, we'll be having a little bit of a preview about the Roosters this year. And, of course, the big one next Thursday night, Roosters-Broncos at Allianz. First Roosters matchday vlog of the season next Friday. That's when it will come out. So, really looking forward to the year ahead. Obviously, going to every single Roosters game this year. I'm super excited to cover that with you guys, both on the channel and on TikTok. Haynesy_T. Can't wait for the year we have. Right, lads. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then, goodbye for now.